Hello and welcome to today's vlog. We have a box of goodies. It's not really a box of goodies. You'll see what's in the box in a minute. But today is a monumental day. Do you know why it's a monumental day? Because you're about to learn the best source of protein and the worst form of protein. So sit back, relax, go and get yourself some milk. And let's get into the vlog. Whoppa! You're about to get a real-time reaction. So I don't remember ordering these, but it's a shoebox nonetheless. Oh, I do remember ordering these. These have been, well, I ordered these in April. I ordered them in April. Oh. Nice. Anyway, protein. This is probably not the best form of protein, although they taste great. Didn't pop. Now, get rid of this bag. Not sure if you're going to be able to hear me or not. God damn it. This might be better. Let's hope it's better. Can you hear me now? You should be able to hear me. Welcome to Protein. Is it a good protein or not? Show. I need to get better with my names. Anyway, let's determine what is good sources of protein. I'm going to leave that in. What an idiot. What's a good source of protein? What's not? Let's get into it. Now, we need to establish good sources of protein via three things. Number one is going to be the PDCAAS, which stands for the Protein Digestibility Corrected Amino Acid Score. I know. But basically it determines, or for us it determines whether a protein is a good source of protein, if it's digested well, etc, etc, etc. Number two is going to be how much is it costing us? That's another score we need to go through. And number three, does it come with other stuff? Some ancillary fats, carbohydrates, etc. Let's get into it, and we'll start with the worst forms of protein. Without doubt, one of the worst forms of protein is going to be something like a bagel. Now, you might be going, well, I don't really have that as a source of protein. No, you probably don't. However, when you track it in MyFitnessPal, and at the end of the day, if you've got a load of these, specifically in a kind of a massing phase, each one of these is about 6 grams of protein, and these are the thin variations. So you're probably looking at around 10 grams of protein per bagel with just, again, bagels. Are they going to be complete? No, they're not. These are not actually tested on the PDCAAS score. I'm just going to call it the PDCAAS. It's not actually tested on the PDCAAS score because they normally just do proteins, but it's going to score very, very low. So it's unknown, but it will likely score very, very low. Now, it's for that reason why in a massing phase, typically our suggestion is going to be 1 gram of protein per pound. But typically I like shooting for the 1.3 to 1.5, just in the case that you're having a lot of bagels, you're slamming them in, you're deep throating them every 2 seconds, then you're covering your arse by shooting your protein a lot further. Basically, we can almost guarantee that we are having 1 gram of protein per pound. Now, in a kind of a fat loss phase, that doesn't actually change. My recommendation does not change, and that is from the simple fact, or the simple aspect, that protein is very, very satiating. We probably can't afford these, but protein is satiating, so we just shoot that up there as well. So, worst form of protein, in my opinion, is going to be something like this. Oh, by the way, this cost me £1. You actually get 20 grams per pound spent. However, the protein is not complete. And also it does come with obviously a lot of fats and carbs. Again, that's kind of obvious. Next up we have the peanut butter. It's a very nice peanut butter, this one. If you haven't tried it, try it. But a lot of people will assume that peanut butter is a good source of protein. I'm here to tell you that it is not. It is not a good form of protein, and we don't necessarily have this tested in the score, but we do have peanuts. Now, peanuts turned out to be 42 out of 100 score, so not that great. I suspect that peanut butter is actually slightly lower than that. Per pound spent, you're looking at around 20 grams of protein, much similar to this. Is it going to be complete? Probably not. And, which is going to be obviously the deciding factor here, it's going to come with a hell of a lot of fats. Like if you try to get 20 grams of protein in via this, then you're looking at around 50 grams of fat, which is quite a lot. So that is for that reason that this is probably a bad source of protein. Good source of fat, yes, potentially, but good source of protein, probably not. Next up, we have the Trusty Protein Bar. Now, again, I don't have the score because we can't really test this, but they have tested whey, which comes out to be fairly decent. Now, I will say, and this is why I've put this in here, these are very, very good on the go. But number one, the cost is quite high. So we're looking at around 10 grams per pound spent. Also, when buying these, you have to watch out for fiber because these come with a hell of a lot of fiber. Like this one comes with 6 grams of fiber. And it also comes with a lot of sugar alcohols, which is basically not good for digestion. So if you eat this, especially in a shopping center, just be on the search out for a toilet because you eat it and then run. So you kind of eat it, do some steps, poop. But also evidently it does come with some carbohydrates, quite a lot of carbohydrates to be honest. I mean, it's like 27 grams of carbohydrates and also some fats. Again, it's okay every once in a while, just really cover your base here. I mean, again, this is only like 20 grams of protein. Really cover your base in terms of MPS spikes. We're looking at around like 3 grams of leucine and around like 20 to 25 grams of protein. So if you really want to maximize your gains, I would actually suggest having this with something like a protein shake on top of that, just to, again, cover your ass, especially in a fat loss phase. But again, just be on the lookout for a toilet. Now we're getting to like the best forms of protein, and they are going to be from kind of animal product. However, we are going to speak about veganism fairly shortly as well. So we can talk about like pork. Now, I don't really advise that for anyone, for any clients. Not from the aspect of like protein, etc., etc. It's a fairly good source of protein. It's fairly cheap, but not like my issue is a little bit with the animal suffering side of things. I am being very cautious with pork. So by all means have pork, but I'm not necessarily advising you to have that. I would do my best or do our best to try and limit that as much as possible. But we can talk about lean beef, right? So on the PDDISC score, we are looking at lean beef, which I don't have, so I'm going to pretend that this is lean beef. Lean beef is going to be a score of 92, which is pretty damn good. The cost is quite low as well. It's 26 grams per pound, and if you go for ground beef, 5% ground beef, then the fats and the carbohydrates are negligible. I mean, we could really talk about like steak, etc., but I think for the aspect of most people, I think that steak is quite expensive. It's a very expensive form of protein. It's okay every now and again, but in terms of like the best form of protein, ground beef hands down is going to be the best beef you're going to get. We could then talk about chicken. Here's one I made earlier. We can then talk about chicken. Go on, prop up. We're mainly going to talk about breast because thighs, although decently nice, is that a word, decently nice? To be honest, they come with a lot of fats and carbohydrates. So in terms of this, of the best sources of protein, I recommend you getting breast. Whether that's done or pre-done. I prefer pre-done because I'm just fucking lazy. Now these turn out to be 20 grams of protein per pound spent. Also, the PDDISC score is around 95, so pretty good. and the carbs and the fats that you get with these are very, very low. So good. We have egg, but I don't have eggs because I don't like eggs. But for the sake of talking about the best form of protein, we're going to talk about eggs. Now, eggs on the PDDS score scored a perfect 100 score. The protein per pound is 30. For each pound you spent, you get 30 grams of protein. That's insane. But this is my only gripe with it. It does come with a lot of fat. It does come with a little bit of carbohydrates. The reason why it comes with fat is going to be obviously the yolk. If you take the yolk out and go for egg whites, you're good. And then we have the whey proteins. Now, a lot of supplements or a lot of different things within the kind of fitness industry, supplements are right at the top, right? They're kind of the minutia. However, when it comes down to protein, there is a reason people sell protein powder to you, and that's because number one, it's cheap. Number two, it scored a perfect score on the PDDS score, 100 again, like eggs. The cost is around 50 grams of protein per pound spent, and also it doesn't really come with any carbohydrates or fats. I mean, this comes with like 2 grams of carbs and 2 grams of fat. Like, it really doesn't come with anything else. It's just straight up protein, which is good. It's what we want. Now, we can talk about vegan proteins as well, because they've come a very, very long way in all of this kind of situation, right? Now, we used to have like rice and we used to have like pea protein, which scored relatively low on the scores. However, companies nowadays are very, very tactful and put both together, which actually means the amino acid profile is very much similar to these. So if you're wanting to go vegan, the protein powders there are absolutely fantastic. You can also look for buckwheat, which scores very high on the score, and also you can look for things like lentils, beans, etc., and peas as well, to cover your ass with protein. We can then talk about, since we're talking about supplements, we could then talk about EAAs. Now, EAAs aren't actually exactly kind of tested with the PDS scores, PDCAA scores, but the research right now on this, especially if you train fasted, is pretty damn good. So if you train fasted, you don't want any kind of food in the morning, and you want to spike muscle protein synthesis, because essentially that's what we're trying to do here, then take this. And then when we talk about like other kind of forms of protein, we obviously can't not talk about milk, which is going to be pretty much exactly the same as this. The cost is in whey's favor, but if you put both together, you're good. But per pound spent, you have around 26 grams of protein, which is good. The trouble is, if you want to get 26 grams of protein, you do have to drink quite a lot, and in terms of digestibility, not that great. In terms of the fat and carbs, this does come with a little bit of kind of fats as well, so this is obviously going to remain king. This does come with kind of carbs and fats, so yeah. And that is basically the best forms of protein, the worst form of proteins, and we are done. And I'm going to go and enjoy my shoes. Anyway, see you in 5 days.